Hey y'all, hey. So I'm looking a little rough today. Excuse me. This video almost did not happen. I just got a late start today, and then I have been committed to working out an hour a day. So that hour, it ended up being like 2 hours because my kids came home from school. I kept having to take all these breaks. Oh, wait, hold on. Welcome to Mentoring Matters. I am Kay Corinne, your virtual mentor. Please like, share, subscribe, and continue the journey with me. Thank you for clicking on my link today. Okay, so this video almost didn't happen, honey. And then once it was going to happen, I want to kind of follow my schedule because I intended to continue talking about themes around spring. However, I wasn't being drawn in that direction. I wanted to jump into a creativity video, and then I thought about recording in advance one for innovation, and I don't know, I just wasn't connected to that material at this time. So instead I decided to, because there was a different one I was going to do called, before I ended up doing the spring one, about recovering from mistakes. And I think I will still do that one, but I thought about how I wanted to approach discussing mistakes, and that's not the type of thing you can do making examples. You know, like you have to give a real life testimony. So I don't know if I'm gonna call this video transparency or recovering from mistakes, because I'm gonna share a little bit more about myself. So, because this is the thing, in order to be a mentor, all you have to do is have something valuable that you can give to someone else, that you can be a resource to them, that you can be a listening ear for them, that you can be a guide for them in any particular area. So some mentorships are strictly about a specific career field. You know, you're studying under a writer who you would like to be like. Some are directly on a personal level. What type of person do you want to be? Some of them are ministry based if you are religious. So there are a lot of different ways that someone can come into your life and be a tool and a support to you. But what they do not have to be is perfect. So because the whole goal here is a pipeline of women helping women. So as you are watching me attempt to mentor virtually, think about the people in your life that you can mentor. It doesn't matter if you're 14 years old. You have cousins that are 9 and 10 years old. What are you teaching them? How are you pouring into their life? How are you investing in them? When you see them messing up, do you pull them to the side and say, hey, that wasn't the right move? Do you speak positivity into their life? Do you, when they say that they're interested in something, are you that big cousin or auntie or uncle or even that neighbor that doesn't mind stopping by a resale shop to see if you can find something that would help them? It's really just about being a support. You don't have to be perfect, and your life never has had to be perfect, and you may not be on the path to perfection. Not yet, you know. So it is in transparency that I share that a few years ago, so I got a divorce in January of 2017. By midpoint through 2018, I was still recovering from that marriage. I was very disappointed that it did not work out. Now, I did file for divorce, but obviously I had good reasons. And I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be with him, but I liked the setup of the family. I liked having a man in the house. I liked, partnering up with somebody to do life, that at the end of the day, when your friends have gone to bed, your family, they're in their respective homes, that your children are in bed, or your siblings, that there is somebody that's sitting in that bed with you, and y'all walking through life together. You sharing stories from your past. You're making plans for the future. You go out into the world and you have 4 sets of eyes. You have, 4 sets of 4 hands. Life is truly easier. And life is easier and more comfortable when there's somebody in it with you. And that's whether you're the president or whether you're sleeping on the streets. It's just, we're communal people, you know. But I said that to say I was trying to not miss a beat. So I ended up, after this terrible relationship that I'm going to tell you a little bit about, I ended up spending 2.5 years completely single, tried to get into a relationship, that blew up in my face, spent another year single, made another relationship attempt, and that didn't work. And this is over the course of 6 years, right? But in that time now, I've had periods. I had a 2-year span when I was alone. I had a 1-year span when I was alone. But up until the time that I met my ex-husband, I had never been alone. I had my first boyfriend from 13 to 18 for 5 years. I was with my first boyfriend. Then I went to college. At first I was at Chicago State, where I met my second boyfriend, but we were on and off throughout college. I ended up transferring to Eastern. We talked a little after college, tried to get back on several times. It didn't work. And then I met my ex-husband. So it was like high school boyfriend, college boyfriend, husband, you know. And I had so much uncertainty about my identity and who I was outside of those relationships. And so when the marriage ended, the person that I was seeing in 2018, we ended up getting engaged and planning to get married, and it was all just going so fast. And he was not mentally stable, come to find out. And that relationship ended up being a nightmare. It's the worst relationship I ever had. There was a lot of embarrassment around it because my children saw me pick this awful person. Their dad, he lost a certain amount of trust in me up until that point. He believed that I was this great mom, but then in choosing this wrong person, and I think we dated 9-10 months, perhaps a full year, before it was a complete severance in contact. But in that amount of time, a lot of damage was done. Emotionally, spiritually, a lot of things took place. And at the time, I was like, me and my man against the world, you know. It's like sounding delusional, sounding crazy. And so when that relationship ended, the shame of making that level of mistake at my age, I was already in my 30s, early 30s, but 30s. I was a mom. I was a professional person. I was educated. I thought that I had life all figured out and that I could just swap him out for somebody else and just never miss a beat and never have to do the work. And thank God, the universe, thank the powers that be, that it ended up crumbling to the ground, and I had to do some hard, reflective work for 2 years of just journaling, reflecting, doing voice note diaries that I would listen to just kind of hear my own mental process and what was lacking in me that allowed certain things to take place, and why would I give myself over to delusions, you know, and go on a wild ride with somebody that was just clearly crazy after maybe about 6 weeks in. And I say all that to say that I ended up overcompensating in my relationship with my co-parent, because once that was over, I felt so bad about what I had taken him through that I did a lot of things to just be overly, you know, to make up for what I felt like I had done. You know, things from returning child support for years. I spent years not getting any financial support, and that from my ex-husband, because I was returning it because I felt that bad over what I had taken us all through. It was there were several things, but it was just an overcompensation on my part. And I actually expressed that to him recently, and he understood where I was coming from, and I was asking for some additional support from him going forward. But getting the kids during the week, of various things, we're not talking about just monetarily, but the point is, it took a lot of inner work to be able to, even though I had said I'm sorry, but to come back and say, you know what, these decisions that I made a few years ago, I know they impacted our family terribly. As a result, I believe I gave way to this type of behavior, and that wasn't healthy either, because I do need more from you as their dad, you know, so on and so forth. And he was receptive to the conversation, and it was very positive and beneficial. But that came from me being transparent. Like, I messed up so bad that it led to this, you know, and I don't want to live in that space anymore. I don't want to still be overcompensating for somebody that I date. It's 2023. I don't want to still be making up for choosing the wrong partner 5 years ago, you know. And, you know, so over the last, 3 or 4 years of my life, I've been having a lot of transparent conversations. And transparent conversations can be scary, because we don't want to give a person ammunition against us. We don't want them to throw anything in our face later. We don't know what will be weaponized. But the truth is, transparency is the only way to go to the next level of self-accountability. If nobody knows except you, there's no accountability system in place. So the transparency, I'm studying, so I'm going to get my master's in educational leadership in May. So I'm in my last 2 classes, and there is a board exam that I have to take. And so I told my best friend, hey, I'm scared. This test costs $500. It's 4 hours. This is pretty serious. I probably should have been looking at these study materials since the beginning of my program. Now I have to finish these 2 classes and be prepared for this test that I cannot afford to take more than once. And because of that, now she's following up with me. Hey, did you look at those materials today? Did you get everything printed? Where are you with this process? Versus being like, yeah, I'm about to finish NED, about to finish strong. And no, I'm afraid. Now that I'm towards the end, I'm just so afraid that I might not pass this test. I might not be able to give my classes all the attention they need because I'm dually studying for this test. I have concerns because now I'm transitioning, right? So I left one job. I'm in pursuit of a better opportunity. So if I start a new job in the next few weeks, along with finishing my last 2 classes of grad school, along with studying for this exam, it can sound like a very intense 8 weeks. So I am being transparent with my network, with those around me, with my partner. I'm going to have the conversation with my children. Like, it's about to be go time. Heavy for me. I really need to lock in. So please forgive me if I am not as attentive to everyone as I was. I need to get focused on this. So I won't make this a long video, but I will say that we all make mistakes. And they're not always something we can sweep under the rug. Many times people will witness our mistakes on a large scale. Sometimes relationships will be damaged. The relationships that can be repaired, I do believe you should extend an olive branch, especially when it was you that was in the wrong, even if they could have done something differently. And those people who do not wish to re-enter your life on the back end of that mistake, then that's fine too. I don't think that our mistakes should be badges of shame, because we have not been here before. I know we have these old terms like in the Black community saying that people have been here before. And even if you believe in reincarnation, this is the first lifetime that we have memory of for most of the population. So if you're doing a job for the first time, you're expected to make mistakes. If you take a class for the first time, you're expected to not fully get it. When you become a homeowner, a renter, every juncture of life, there's an expectation that you're going to fumble until you get it. We understand that compartmentalized in life, but what about the whole of life? We're doing this whole, God willing, 70 or 80 or 90 years for the first time. Do you know how many things can and will go wrong? Your first go round, and for your knowledge, your last go round in this thing that's called life. I'm going to encourage you to not be ashamed of anything. You just keep on living. Like our living ancestors tell us, keep on living, keep on climbing, keep on striving, keep on trying. When you feel called or unction to do so, you can be transparent with people who you know it will empower. Now, transparency can be weaponized. I've been transparent and been slapped all upside my face with it. That will happen. That will happen because it's going to be people who you thought you could trust, who you couldn't. But the reason that they had, and most people think it's corny, saying that the strongest people are the softest people, the kindest people are the strongest people, that's not some kind of switcheroo. That's not some kind of reverse psychology with people trying to get you to be nice and telling you you're secretly strong. No, the strength that it takes to continue to approach life with pure intentions, even when you see that other folks are not pure, that takes a certain amount of strength, because it's going to take you time to figure out who should get that tenderness from you and who should not. Who should receive your transparency, your generosity, your honesty, your resources, your support, and who should not. There definitely are people who are in alignment with receiving from you and people who are not. But while you figure it out, you're going to give information to people who do not know what to do with it at that point in their life. And so they do the immature thing with the information. Lesson learned to you. But then you continue to walk in open-heartedness so that you can receive. So nothing can grow in protection mode. There's protection mode, and then there's growth mode. To grow, you have to receive. You have to be open. You cannot grow closed off, but you can protect yourself closed off. So then life becomes this dance of, when am I open? When am I protecting myself? Just like everything in nature. There are times of pollination and times of protection. So be open, be transparent, do so with wisdom, and as your wisdom enhances, you'll do so more wisely every time. My oldest daughter is texting me. I think it's time for me to talk to her. Is it Tuesday? We have a standard 8 p.m. Phone call. But I hate saying so much. Hold me accountable. Hold me accountable. I have to remove the ums. So continue to journey well. Continue to be transparent. Understand that you are going to make many more mistakes. The goal is that you learn from those mistakes, you grow from those mistakes, and then you're able to use those mistakes to help somebody else. And then we can continue to journey together as humankind and make the best out of our time here in tandem and in alignment with the universe. Have a great day.